What's going on, everybody? Today we have a very tasty how-to video. We're going to show you how to smoke a delicious piece of salmon. Let's get started. The salmon we're using is from Costco. You can get your salmon anywhere. This is about a 2.5 pound piece of salmon. I'll explain later why I like to use kind of a medium size. You can get something that's a lot smaller. Don't be fooled by a cheaper price. Smaller piece is not going to cook the same, and also you don't want to get too big of a piece. They have pieces that go all the way up to about $30 for about 4 pounds or so, and it's too thick and doesn't catch all the flavor. This is a pretty good size. I'd say anywhere between 2 to 3 pounds is a good size to start with. What you're going to need, here, let me pull it out and show you. What you're going to need to get started is some kind of a non-reactive dish. This is just a glass dish. I prefer not to use metal because we're going to be using salt today to brine this. This is where the salt's going to come in. We want to get a pot of water. I want to fill it with about 2/3 of the way full. And you want some good brine. This is something I buy online. I bought it on Amazon. It says turkey brine. But I found that this formula really works well with salmon as well. It's got some sweeteners in there. It's got plenty of rock salt. It's got some bay leaves and some other little things like dried cranberries. I find that with the salmon this works very well. So what we're going to do is we're going to dump in about a cup of the brine mix. We're going to just let it boil. This will take a minute. Okay, so while this is boiling, come over here, we're gonna get this guy ready. Check it for bones. The ones from Costco usually don't have bones in them, but you could find 2 or 3. You're gonna take this out. We're gonna lay it in the pan. You don't need to rinse it off yet, but after we brine it, we will rinse it. You don't wanna put this on the fish hot. It's gonna cook it, blanch it. Go ahead and just ice this down. Get it as close to room temp as you can. And then when it's ready, we're gonna just pour it over this and pour more ice on it because I can't fit this in my fridge. It's too big. And my fridge is already packed full of stuff. So what we're gonna do is just slap a ton of ice on top of this, put some foil on it, and then put a towel on it, just leave it on the counter. It's gonna sit for probably minimum 4 hours. Don't let it go till 8 or 9 hours on salmon, that's too much. But you do wanna get about 4 hours on it. 2 hours is not enough either. But if you're doing chicken or something like that, you could brine it overnight, but salmon you cannot. Brine is also not have to be bought in a kit. You can make your own brine. There's tons of recipes, different applications. I just find that this particular turkey one that you can buy pre-made, it's got cranberries in it. I like these little chunks of cranberry. It's got bay leaf in there and all that. Works very well with salmon. I've done this recipe about 30 times and it always works well. We have our ice, we have our brine that is cooled, we have our fish. We're just gonna take a pot of brine here. Just gonna go ahead and pour it over real slow. Get it all nice and in there. That's going to be just enough. Get a little bit more and just kind of rinse the little salt out of there. All right, dump that in. See, it already looks tasty. We're going to take the rest of this ice, put that in there. We're probably going to get more ice on it before I cover it, but we just want to cover it with foil and a towel and let it sit for 4 hours. Welcome back, everybody. It is now later in the day. I guess it's been about 4.5 hours since we started brining our salmon here. Got the smoker already started. It's currently at 200 degrees. It's 11 to 12. We're not going to be using it that hot. We're actually going to bring it back down. This is preheating. This is a Traeger. You do not need a Traeger to do this, or any pellet grill for that matter. You just need any kind of smoker. It can be electric, an offset smoker, wood, charcoal, doesn't matter. As long as you know your smoker well and you know how to maintain the temp. You're going to want to keep this temperature at about 165 to 185 to do this. I recommend using some light wood, maybe pecan, apple, something like that. Just don't use any oaks; it's too heavy. Not for fish at least. But that's the key here. Low and slow is always for the win. You want to do 165 to 185 for salmon. Use a light wood. So we're going to go ahead and get this guy on there. Go ahead and get this tasty hunk of goodness here. Then we're going to get it on the grill. Get a little sizzle. She's going to cool off a lot. I'm just going to spread it out there real nice and even. Pull out a little bit, spread it. And there you go. That's it. For the first hour, this is probably going to take about 3 to 3.5 hours to actually do this for a 2.5 pound piece. Again, temperature, which is now perfect, is at 185. We're going to baste this every hour with a mixture of soy sauce and honey. I like to use honey. A lot of other people use different things on salmon, but trust me, you're going to want something a little sweet. I use honey. You can use maple syrup. Doesn't matter. Just don't use too much soy sauce. Maybe like 4 tablespoons of soy sauce and maybe 8 tablespoons of honey. Mix them together, microwave them for like 10 seconds. It'll loosen it up enough to brush it on. And then at about 1 hour mark, we're going to come and baste it. At the 2 hour mark, we're going to baste it again. And when we're almost done, we're probably 20 minutes ready to pull it off. We'll baste it one more time. And it'll give it a nice, crispy outer shell almost. It really does make the flavor. And that's what we're going to do. So right now, we're just going to wait. 190, it's too hot. We're going to come back in just a little bit. Welcome back again. It is now even later. It's been going now for about an hour and 20 minutes on the smoker. This is what we look like about an hour and 20 minutes in. I just started to baste it actually. I'm going to continue to baste it. This is what I told you about. This is going to be your mixture of soy sauce, honey, and I like to also add maple syrup. You can just do one or the other with the soy sauce, but this is what we're going to be brushing on it. You definitely want to do this. Do not skip this step. This makes the flavor when it's all done. You just want to get a nice little even coat on there. You're not going to flip into the other side. You just want to do this one side. And it's really going to help seal in all the protein that's going to try to cook out. It's that white substance that starts to come out of it. This is what you look like. We're an hour in. A little crusty on the edge. That's about it. We're going to come back in another hour, baste it one more time, and come back after that to pull it off. We are now done with our smoked salmon. It is now later, as you can see. It's dark outside. The pretty lights are on. The temperature currently is at 190, which is right where it needed to be. I just shut it off. This is what we're looking at. We are done. We can take our thermometer here. If you're going to do any kind of smoking, you want to get one of these. These things are like $5-10 a degree. You're just going to stick it in the meat, and we're going to see our internal temperature. 130, 132, 135, it's climbing. We want it to be 145, 140, but as you can see, we obviously are hitting our goal. It's almost there. It'll continue to climb for another few seconds, but we are 150, yep. This is definitely done. All right, we're gonna go ahead and just finish this up. This was basted 3 times, so I didn't record the third one. No, you already saw the other 2 look like. I don't think I did the second one. So just remember, you want to brine your salmon 4 hours. Try to buy a piece. It's about 2.5 pounds roughly. Anywhere between 2 and 3 will do fine. You want to brine it for 4 hours, and then after you brine it, you want to smoke it. Try to keep it under 180 or 190. Smoke it for about 3.5 hours. This took about 3.5 hours. And every hour you want to baste it. So I baste it after 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, and I'm taking it off. The baste is just made with, again, honey, maple syrup, and soy sauce. So, but that's it. I'm gonna go ahead and just take it off. You'll see now it's gonna just fall apart. As we get the tongs here, it's just gonna come apart in nice flaky pieces. Look at that. Oh, that's the good stuff. Put it on the pan. Bring it inside for the family. If you try the recipe and you like it, leave a comment. Let me know what you think. I am new at this, so if the video was kind of choppy, please bear with me, but I do appreciate you watching. Don't forget to hit that like button. And thanks again for watching. But I have to, of course, try a piece before I go.